Does God use dating apps in his plans? I've, for a while this year, I was not going back on the dating apps, and I refused to go back on them, but I've recently returned. I'm actually going to a date right now, and I heard this video right after I got back on the dating apps. Of course, this is the last video I see that night. It was how dating apps are a place for Christians to gather, or people to gather who don't trust God. Even Christians, and what that means is I've met a lot of Christians who they met their partner through going to church, or through ministry, or through their faith, and that leads to a really healthy marriage. And that's why I see so many Christians who are happily married, and just people who if they weren't in church, I'm would they be happily married? I'm not sure. And it's inspiring. It's really beautiful. And I think it's just because it's an alignment of values, and these are people who are there to grow in their values and to grow in their character, and that's what's required of a healthy marriage. And I've witnessed how the hand of God works in your life when you love Him and you're doing good in the world, and when He's able to work on your heart and develop you and help you grow and prepare you for whatever it is He's preparing you for and fathering you for. I've witnessed that in my life this year in amazing ways. And to go on a dating app, you're basically saying, all right, God, I don't trust your timing. I don't trust that you'll find someone for me when the timing is right. I'm impatient. I want this now. So I'm just going to go I'm just going to go and do the thing and not wait. I don't want to wait anymore. And so basically it's as if you're taking the pen from God. He's writing your story, but you're impatient. You don't trust Him. So you're going to take the pen and write the story. But I've heard that argument, but isn't dating apps just another tool that God uses in our life? I really do feel that way. The last relationship I had, it lasted 8 months, and I thought it would, I was hoping it would last forever, but honestly, it changed me for the better. It made me a better human being. That person, I hope I did the same for her. We both changed our lives, and frankly, to the point where I'm even I've talked about it, I'm even crediting her, having a dedication to her, of her in my film. And it's that's something that I treasure, and I'm sure I really see how God brought that person to my life. So I think it really depends. How are you using dating apps? Are you going on there to hook up with people? Then no, of course it's not going to work. But are you going on to the dating apps to show up, get to know someone, not get physical, just treat them with respect and boundaries, and learn about their soul and their heart, and figure out if that's somebody who you want to marry? That I feel the better you get at remaining true to that and proving in your real life experience that you can do that and not fall into sin and treat that person with respect, the better dates come your way. I really feel God kind of tests you, and it's okay, are you able to do this and handle this? And then you do well, and you don't, you avoid sin. You just, you treat the person with respect. You give them a great experience going on a date where it's, you're strictly there to get to know them and see how you can serve them. Literally go on a date with the mindset of, how can I serve this person, in some way. And that might be they have something they need to talk about, and you might have, God will be able to speak through you for them. And that happens to me all the time with people, with friends, or people at my church. It's and also prioritize looking for another Christian. I find once I was able to look for Christians, and find people who definitely were kind of weren't Christians, but they were actually Christians, practicing their faith. They're in church, they work at church, or they have it in their profile that Jesus matters to them. or about, Jesus is important to them. You look for those things. Those are green flags. And I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm not really worried about the argument of like, well, you're going to find people who aren't a good influence or all that. That's not true. And it's funny. I told a few friends, it's like, I've set up a few dates already where I'm, able to go and meet these people and get to know them. And it's funny. I've told a few friends I've been on a few dates now, and they're like, wait, you're finding dates? Like, how are you doing that? And really, it's you have to set your profile up and then show up. You got to set your profile up and say, hey, this is who I am. Be honest. And frame it in a way that it makes you, like these are things that make you a valuable person to date or attractive to date. My first profile picture is me with a dog. It's not even my dog. It was a set photo that I really liked where I look like I have a really good grin on my face. It's very cute. With this really cute dog, and I use that as my profile picture, and then it's like other things like my jiu-jitsu stuff and getting my blue belt and just things that show my values, my worth, and like in terms of character and like what I'm looking for. But like, it's honest, it's true. Like that is what I'm looking for, and I'm looking to provide. Like I go into this with and I make sure my profile shows this. I'm looking to provide value and serve someone else, like as a partner, and find my wife. Like I'm not like it's no question about it. And when women feel like they're meeting a guy who's genuine and looking for like a genuine relationship, not only relationship, but like is looking for the goal of marriage, they can sense that if you're genuine about it. And so I think you are able to attract the right people. I'll see. I mean, I kind of feel though, having used the dating app for like a week now, and that's longer than I could this year before. Like I get overwhelmed by it, just knowing that the profile is out there, because I feel like I have to check it. Like I'll delete it off my phone every day, and then I'll re-download it because I'm like, I have to check. And I thought it was like my OCD. I think it could be, but I don't know, man. I get so distracted knowing that I have a dating app profile out there, because I think it's the distraction of like, yeah, as a man, that is like your biology. You want to find your partner. You want to find a mate. And when you have a dating app downloaded, that's all you think about. Is like, oh, I should check it. It's an opportunity. I'm missing an opportunity. And then you can't focus on your work. Now that is where the argument about, dating apps are where people go who don't trust God, that makes sense. Because if you're trusting God and not trying to go out and do the work yourself, you're able to focus all of your work and effort towards, what you should be doing, which is your job. Like focusing on growing in your faith and growing in your work and your career and figuring out, how to be someone who can provide for someone. Now, if you go on the apps, it's like you want to get in and out very quick before the fatigue starts setting in. There is a dating app fatigue that I've experienced where you start going on there too much. You start looking for people who aren't what you're looking for, like, and matching with them just to have chats or just to have dates. And that's where and frankly, I'd argue you should be willing to go on dates with people who you're not sure about, just because you meet them in person, you get to know them, you talk to them, you realize, oh wow, there's a real good connection here. You might not think that this is somebody who you want to go on a date with, but if you sense there's positive values there, and there's a positive connection there, and they have great values, it's worth talking to them. And you build up the confidence. You're able to I think if you're treating them well, you're able to give them a great dating experience and encourage them. Like you're able to serve them in some way. That's my hope. And I think if you go into the dating scene that way, like it is okay to go on those dates, but yeah, you might start talking to someone who isn't isn't of those values. And if you start doing that, that's when you have to like say, you know what, or somebody who is of good values, you don't have the energy to talk to them. You just feel burned out. So there is a burnout from using the apps, and there is a fatigue, and you have to be mindful of that. And frankly, I would say you got to just delete the profile, like delete the profile and the app. Like, and when you're ready to use it again, if you are, get back onto it and then build the profile again, recreate it. It's a lot more work, but like it doesn't even it pales in comparison to the energy you're wasting knowing that the dating app is out there and you're distracted by it. Like this week, I now that I'm getting off of it again, I feel like I'm able to get this wave of energy and thoughts and clarity and wisdom rushing back and discipline rushing back that I forgot that I had. Like, it's stupid. It's really stupid. I think it's just it's this biological energy or biological drive of need to seek the mate if you have the opportunity, because you don't think the opportunity is going to come up again. So you have to like keep using the app, and it's an addiction. That's how the dating apps addict you. Is like, okay, I have it. I have all these options, so I have to explore it. Now, as a man, like this is what women have an issue with. When men, they don't know how to get off the app. I know how to get off the app. I do it all the time. And frankly, that actually irritates some women. Like, I'll start talking to them like, I got to get off these apps. I can't, or that doesn't irritate. Like, I maybe once in the past, but like, it's kind of like, it is a little neurotic if like you're talking to a guy and he's like, hey, I got to get off this app. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling this right now. like that is something I've done. But the upside is it gives me the clarity back to do my work and focus on my life and myself and my faith and my relationship with God, and not be so caught up in all the biology and my hardwiring to seek that mate that all this seemingly infinite number of options presents you, and then that just overwhelms you, and then you can't focus on one person. You got to be really mindful. How are you treating the matches who you do like? Ask yourself that. Are you treating them well? Are you being very responsive? Or do you not have the energy to talk to them because you're trying to talk to new matches? You're being ADHD about your dating life. You have to prioritize the ones that are of value and invest in the ones that are of value and identify them. So, but yeah, these are just my thoughts on dating apps and whether it's trusting God and whether it's part of His plan. I've got, I'm going to be going on another date today and probably some more dates before I delete them and see how it goes. But yeah, I want to see firsthand if like it is a waste of time. But I'm sure you go on like 30 dates, 50 dates, you're going to probably find someone who, God would want you to be with. And but I will bring it back to, would I prefer to meet someone in life, going through life, focusing on my work, faith, and life, and let God write the story? You bet. And I've seen that for myself a little bit, and I've seen that for a friend, but maybe I'm not trusting God. I don't know. But I feel like I'm being called to go out and look and seek. And yeah, not really sure whether it is God's plan, dating apps. But let me know what you think. Have you had, or do you see experiences in your life or other people's lives that you feel dating apps are God's plan? And let me know your thoughts. And if you have any video ideas or requests or questions or things you need help with, or things I can make into a video or make a video about and to address, leave me an email, askthomasprophet@gmail.com, and I'll try to get back to you. And appreciate you watching. I appreciate you supporting the channel. If you want to support us, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll work on getting back to you. I appreciate you guys. Later. Bye.